I don't want to feel any more rigid, black and white definitions of success. Today I want to talk about redefining success and finding a different way to value yourself. Because sometimes I think when you're working towards something like a long-term goal, or maybe you're building a business or starting a YouTube channel, I think that it's really easy to go through days or maybe even weeks or months where you don't necessarily have anything tangible to show for the efforts that you're putting in. There's definitely no immediate gratification. There might not be even any feedback that what you're doing is right for you or that you're on a path that is worth it. And navigating that space between feeling like what you're doing is right, but then also having really no information or tangible yes, success, I did it. That's really challenging and weird to navigate. So I kind of wanted to talk about that today. Now, of course, what's worth it for somebody to spend their life on might not be the same thing as what is worth it to you or what's worth it to me. And people around you are going to be vocal about that. They're going to let you know if they think what you're doing is wrong or misguided. And if you yourself are kind of wishy-washy or you're not really connected to what you want and what you need, then other people's words will carry more weight. You might be so unsure of who you are and what you want and need out of life or out of whatever activity that you're choosing to pursue, that even what we think others might believe about us or what we think others might think about us can actually shape who we are and what we do. In short, if you're already unsure about what you're doing because you don't have that tangible proof of success, then other people weigh in and then they also tell you that they don't think what you're doing is worth it, you might become even more convinced that what you're doing is not right. But this video is all about the fact that you don't actually need something to prove to other people that what you're doing is worth it. You don't need a measure of success like money or amount of employees or amount of products sold. You don't need that to prove to other people that how you spend your time has value. The only person that you need to show that to is yourself. And what that's going to entail is defining what success looks like to you. And it's going to look like exploring what is actually worth it to you. I wanted to explore this today because I've kind of felt like I've been floating a little bit over the last couple of months, and I wanted to look at why. I sometimes felt like I didn't have a good enough answer in response to, what have you been up to lately? What are you doing? How's work going? I definitely do feel like if I don't have visible growth or tangible success, then what I'm doing isn't really of value. But I know that that feeling is like a product of capitalism
and the patriarchy,
because labor that doesn't have a manual component or a tangible measure of success is still labor. And feeling like it wasn't enough or feeling like what I'm doing is not enough to show other people feels inauthentic to me. That doesn't resonate with who I want to be. I, like you, deserve to be proud of what I'm doing. I deserve to feel fulfilled in the activities that I choose to spend my time on. Most importantly, I deserve to work towards my goals and I deserve to pursue my passions in a way that feels authentic, it feels accessible to me, a way that feels genuine, and really importantly, a way that feels flexible. So I don't want to feel any more rigid, black and white definitions of success. And I think that side of things, like the no black and white side of things, also comes from exploring my own relationship with ADHD. If I can't do 30 things a day because I have a disorder that makes it hard for me to do things in general, why am I beating myself up? In the lead up to this video, I've created a new definition of what success actually means to me. And I've done this by coming up with a set of values or a set of concepts that I feel like I really resonate with. If you like this approach to things, then you're more than welcome to take my concepts. But honestly, what you want out of life is going to look different to what I want out of life, right? So your values or your concepts to measure success might be different. So feel free to use mine as a jumping off point as we get into this, but also add your own. I also don't know whether my concepts or my values are going to be the same forever. They might change as I get older and grow and learn, but they work for right now. So the new way that I am defining success is through the 5 following ideas: create, move, nourish, connect, and learn. I thought we'd explore each idea kind of like little by little, and then you can kind of get my thinking and see how I'm going to apply this process moving forward to hopefully live a more fulfilling life and to hopefully give me a bit more guidance and reassurance that what I'm doing is worth it. So the first concept that I mentioned was create. And to me, that means to play. That means to build something, to use my imagination. It might mean brainstorming new video ideas. It might mean painting. It might be singing Noah Kahan songs at the top of my lungs. It could could mean create a new YouTube video, develop a business plan. It could even mean to make a website. I wanted all of my ideas to encompass both things that I would need for like work or more professional pursuits, but I also wanted it to encompass things that I would just do in day-to-day life. Something that if I did, I would know that I have achieved my goals for that day. And having the flexibility to kind of move between both like brains, like that professional or like fun and play brain, I really like that. So each day, if I'm able to tick off the create bracket, that is a successful day to me. Is this making sense? Are you kind of getting how I'm like trying to navigate or relearn what actually is important to me? The next concept that I wanted to talk about was move, and that is slightly more self-explanatory than create. I chose move as a word or as a concept over something like exercise or the gym because I feel that it left a little bit more room, particularly because I have chronic pain and it's been flaring up a lot recently. So if I wrote, I want to gym 3 times a week, for example, sometimes that is too rigid and it's not accessible to me and what I'm actually able to do within my abilities. So instead of feeling like a failure that I haven't been able to get to the gym and lift weights, having a broader concept like move, it'll allow me to move away from black and white thinking where I'm like, okay, if I didn't go to the gym, I'm gonna do nothing and I'm a failure. Even as I say it out loud, I'm like, well, that spiraled quick, but sometimes that's how anxious brains work. Instead, because I'm an exercise scientist and I absolutely believe that movement of any kind is fundamental to our physical, emotional, mental well-being, even if it's a 10-minute stretch or even if I do a couple of rehab exercises for my hip, I want to hold space for myself. I want to appreciate and honor my limits. Move as a concept, it allows me that space to honor where my body is at, where my ability is at, what my capacity is at that day. And it'll allow me to explore like authentic movement, like what my body really needs in that moment without judgment and without shame. And just as a side note, what I mean when I say authentic is that it's something that I chose myself. And I chose it because it's what I believe I need, not because it's something that I think I have to do because of what society's telling me I have to do. Instead, if one day I don't feel like running, that's okay. As long as I tick off that move column in some other way. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Just trying to be more in tune with myself. That's what I want out of that concept. Taking the pressure off as well to get to the gym or exercise in a certain way has genuinely made me be a little bit more consistent with the gym because I'm realizing I actually do love going. I love lifting heavy things and putting them back down again. Like, who knew? It also takes the pressure off to do yoga 5 times a week because sometimes I might just not want to do yoga and that's fine, but I still might want to move my body, and so it allows me to not feel like I'm failing at something just because there's been a change in what the plan originally was. It's moving away from rigidness towards flexibility. The next concept that I'm going to try and tick off each day as a marker of my new version of success is learn. At face value, this concept just means to learn something new. I want to challenge myself. I want to add more information than I had the day before into my brain. It could be learning a new fact, a new concept, a skill, anything. But like the other concepts, it also goes deeper and there's room for interpretation. This daily goal of mine could mean to challenge myself, or it could mean to put myself in a situation that's out of my comfort zone, but that might make me feel an unpleasant way. Because by putting myself in a situation, or rather being more open and welcoming to new situations and new experiences, that is a way that I could learn as well. That instead of learning a concept about the external world, I'd be learning about me and how my body responds, how my thoughts react, how I interpret different things. Having the flexibility of these concepts to me is so important because it means that I can honor myself and honor my limits and respect where I'm actually at. So if I've had a really stressful week and my mind is all over the place, I feel emotionally heightened, my nervous system is not really regulated, then I might not have the capacity to go and put myself in an uncomfortable situation. Like, that's likely gonna make me feel worse, right? That's not gonna help me grow as a person. So on days or weeks where I'm feeling like this, where I need to honor my lessened capacity, then the learn concept could be ticked off by learning that wombats have cube-shaped poops, because life is all about balance that way, right? My next concept, or my next tick box that I want to reach every day is connect. connection. This is a small daily promise to myself that is aimed at developing, maintaining, and maybe even creating interpersonal relationships. It's really easy for me to forget to text someone for a few days, and this is just a way of gently reminding myself that I love people. I know that sometimes I have the tendency to avoid social situations because they can be a bit stressful, I can get a bit overstimulated, but connect as a concept for each day or as a goal for each day is just aimed at gently reminding myself to make an effort, because I do love spending time with my friends. I love learning about my friends. I love spending time with my family, and I love making people feel loved, and I definitely could improve upon this. But sometimes I just feel like days get so busy and I don't really have time to focus on making the people in my life feel loved, and so I wanted to set this goal as a reminder that by doing this is actually moving me towards the life that I want to live. Being vulnerable with people, being my authentic self, and feeling more connected or close to people, that is something that I want to make an active effort to try and honor, because I think that all of us, even though we might not feel like it, we are social beings, and that connectedness is so important to our emotional health. So this is just a reminder to me as a concept that if I've done this today, that is a successful day. The other interpretation of connect as a concept is taking the time to connect with myself. This might look like taking the time to journal, although I've not really tried that yet, or it might look like taking some time to do some deep breathing or to check in with how I'm feeling. Learning about yourself or myself in this case, and honoring my needs and my wants, and learning to listen to those needs and wants is a critical part of connection, because I feel like if we don't know ourselves, we can't really show up for others in the way that we want to, in the way that we might want others to show up for us. So we have to lead by example, and we have to really know ourselves, or really try to learn about ourselves. So although it could apply to other people, taking the time to connect with yourself, that is another way in which I'm going to mark a tick and measure success for myself each day. The last concept, or the last small daily promise that I'm going to make to myself, is nourish. And this could look like the foods that you eat or what you drink. For example, am I fueling myself in a way that actually makes me feel good inside? Am I fueling myself in a way that allows me to have the energy to do the activities that I love? By nourishing my mind, body, and soul with experiences that make me feel good, that is a way of taking care of myself, and that is a way of measuring success each day. And that again comes back to being connected to what you actually need, and being acutely aware of yourself and your limits and your wants, your desires. So if I'm burnt out or I'm really, really stressed, is it really the best idea in the world to keep working past the point that I need to be working, or forcing myself to get something done because I said I was going to? Or maybe is this the time that I should now take to nourish myself or nurture myself, have some food, read a book, do something that is going to make me feel good and feel joy? Allowing myself permission to recharge from each day, I think, is critically important as well, because as much as I would love to be a machine and just that's not the reality of where I'm at. I think in particular, having ADHD, the part of the disorder is just kind of inconsistency. So one day you might be able to do a million things, and the next day it might be nothing. So when I was developing all of these concepts, I really, as I'm sure you've got the point throughout this video, it really felt important that it needed to be flexible, and it needed to allow for changes in capacities, moods, abilities, whatever. And I think I've done that. I'm still working on them, and I've been going through them each day and seeing if I can tick them off, and genuinely I feel like I have. I feel like I'm ending each day feeling a little bit better about myself, feeling a little bit more accomplished and fulfilled, and that's really positive. I'm gonna check in a couple weeks time and see how I feel, and hopefully report that back to you. I really wanted to share this with you guys because this is kind of how I'm redefining success for me at the moment. And if any of this resonates with you, I would love to know what you think. I'd be intrigued to know if you resonate with any of the concepts or any of the little goals that I've set for myself each day. And in particular, if you have something different, I would love to know your interpretations or words that are resonating with you, because I think it might inspire me to maybe add a few more things, or maybe find a better word that fits for what I'm trying to accomplish. So all in all, those 5 concepts, that is how I'm going to be defining success for myself moving forward, because I really have no control over outcomes. It's nice to have like a big outcome goal in mind, like, oh, I'm gonna have 10,000 subscribers, for example, or I'm gonna squat 100 kilos. That's really great, but I wanted to set more gentle process goals for myself, and that's what I've done. I hope you all be really, really kind to yourselves, because you're amazing and you're so full of love and energy and compassion, kindness, intelligence, and you're just beautiful, beautiful people, and you deserve the world. I hope you guys have an amazing week ahead, and I will see you next time. Post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Bye guys.